Ladies and gentlemen, friends and enemies, welcome to historic Dahlonega, Georgia for today's Sunday afternoon matchup between your University of North Georgia Nighthawks and the visiting USC Beaufort Sand Sharks. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Brennan Shabath, bringing you this broadcast of UNG softball here on the Nighthawk Sports Network today. The final game of the opening three-game series in Peach Belt Conference play for these two squads, and the Nighthawks, the number one team in the country, 15-2 right now on a 7-game win streak. Tybee Denton on in the circle for the Nighthawks, and she gets us started with a strike to Jaden Goodwin. Goodwin, a junior out of Corner, Alabama. Lead hitter for the Sand Sharks this season. Nighthawks won both games yesterday. A little bit closer in that first game. Close for comfort for head coach Mike Davenport and his squad, assistant coach Aaliyah Medina. 4-1 was the win in game number one. It was 1-1 in that game for a long time. Nighthawks added a few runs late in that game to pull away with the win. Tybee Denton pitching in her second contest in a row after she went 4 hitless innings to start game 2 yesterday in what was eventually an 8-1 win for the Nighthawks. USC Beaufort didn't get his first hit till the leadoff hitter in the top of the 5th. Strike 3 called. Denton, one of the best strikeout pitchers in the country, starts things off with a K today. That's out number 1 to Jaden Goodwin. Brings up Darren Miller, the center fielder. And she swings and misses at the first one. Denton entered this series with a 1.2 ERA and 35 innings of work so far this season. She struck out 7 batters yesterday, now totaling 57 strikeouts for Tybee on the year. She's ahead 0-2 here in a comfortable spot again against Miller. Check swing, did she go? The appeal sure did. Back-to-back Ks to start the game for Tybee Denton.
Stepping up to bat, number 10, Devon Weller.
Brings up Devin Weller. Denton yesterday, 6 1/3 innings of 1-run ball. With those 7 strikeouts, she only walked 1 batter of the 25 that she faced. Only allowed 2 hits in total. The 1 run that was scored was a home run for this batter right here, Devin Weller. And she punches this one deep out into left field. Well foul, though. And Weller with a second good swing against Denton in this series. Weller on the year, a pair of home runs, the second of which came yesterday. A ball outside from Denton, 2-1 now. This is a USC Beaufort team that their current record on the season sits at 9-5. Not bad for the first time Peach Belt Conference members. Swing and a miss. 2-2 now against Weller. But considering that the Sand Sharks started the year 8-1, they've lost 4 of their last 5, including 2 straight to these Nighthawks. 2-2 with 2 down. Denton delivers a ball that will fill up the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just 11 walks this year for Tybee Denton. 3-2 on the ground. Scooped up right there by Gracie Mixon, and she tosses over to Sophie Mooney for the third out. 3 up, 3 down, a pair of Ks for Tybee Denton. Nighthawks batting in the bottom half of the first when we come back on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Nighthawks batting in the bottom of the first after a 1-2-3 top half of the inning, and it'll be Jolie Lester to get things started for North Georgia. Jolie, the junior from Fayetteville, Georgia. On the mound for the Sand Sharks, it's Sierra Kinlaw, junior out of Claxton, Georgia, transfer from East Georgia State. Kinlaw entered this series with a 2.84 ERA and 24 2/3 innings of work. Lester softly into center field. That will drop right on top of the interlocking NG logo for a leadoff base knock for Jolie Lester. Lester's been very good to start the year for Mike Davenport's squad, and so has this player, the right fielder, Mariah Wicker. Wicker getting the sign from Coach Davenport over there at third base before digging into the left-handed batter's box. Shows bunt, pulls it back. First baseman Mackenzie Four was charging in. After Wicker, it'll be Sophie Mooney. Mooney, the lead hitter this year for the Nighthawks. That's inside. 2 balls and no strikes now on Wicker. Following Mooney in the Nighthawk lineup, it's Mallory Parker out in center field. Georgia Blair catching today. Grayson Perry is the designated player. Gracie Mixon at the hot corner at third. Tegan Laveo Masonette is over at second, and Riley Moody at short. Another bunt dropped down. That is fair and in play. Wicker beats it down at first. Everybody's safe. A perfect bunt that leads to a single for Mariah Wicker. Just dropped it right on top of the plate, and the catcher, Addie Reynolds, couldn't get it down there in time. And that's trouble as the nation's leading extra base hitter, Sophie Mooney, steps up. 11 doubles on the year to lead all NCAA Division II hitters for Mooney. She takes a strike up in the zone. Nobody down, 2 on early for the Nighthawks. Mooney, line to first, caught, and that's a double play. 4 made the grab. Wicker was off the base, and in the blink of an eye, 2 outs here in the first for the Sand Sharks. Nighthawks have been so good at striking early this season, right in the first inning. They still got an opportunity here with Mallory Parker up and Jolie Lester over there at second. But a golden opportunity gone to the wayside thanks to Mackenzie Four and a nice grab over at first base. Parker swings and misses. Makes it 1 ball and 1 strike. Parker on the season hitting .419 so far. Out of the 17 games for the Nighthawks, she's played and started in 15 of them. That's a ball outside. Swings and misses to make it 2-2. And Sierra Kinlaw, after putting the first 2 batters on and facing the toughest hitter in the Nighthawk lineup, is 1 strike away from getting out of this first inning unscathed. Lester off of second. Swing and a miss. What a turnaround for the Sand Sharks. Sierra Kinlaw gets out of it, facing just 4 batters as she Ks Mallory Parker to end the first. Scoreless after 1. Top of the second when we come back on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back here at the Hill, Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium at Lynn Cottrell Park, a sensational athletic facility here at one of the best Division II athletic programs, not just softball programs, but entire athletic department in the country. Tybee Denton on for her second inning, facing Taylor Chang, the designated player today. Chang rifles 1 fouled on the third baseline. Nighthawks are not the only #1 team in the country on campus as of right now. Men's golf also atop the national rankings at the NCAA Division II level. Plenty of teams ranked overall. Women's tennis, who picked up a win yesterday, were number 11 in the country before taking down number 18 Auburn Montgomery yesterday. Men's basketball, number 16 in the land. Beat Augusta yesterday, 73-66 on senior night. That one skips in there, 2 balls and a strike. Now on Chang. The 2-1. Strike on the outside edge. 2-2 the count on Chang, the sophomore from Lebanon, Tennessee. Hitting .452 this year. A pair of home runs to her name. Pops this one up, and it will get out of play back over the press box. Good day for softball today. Currently 52 degrees. Sunny skies, barely a cloud, just a few peeking over the trees beyond right field above the Lynn Cottrell Park scoreboard. Light breeze out into center field, ranging over is Parker, and she'll coast for the first out. A fly out to center for Chang. 1 up and 1 down brings up the catcher, Addie Reynolds, for the Sand Sharks. We mentioned Denton's outing yesterday. 6 1/3 innings with 2 hits. We noted how she started the day. 4 hitless innings. And pretty impressive to do that in your first conference game. I think that one caught Reynolds. She checked her swing but pulled it back. And Reynolds will head down to first on the hit by pitch. And I think this is not a guarantee that she did not swing. There was appeal just down to first. Says she did swing. So I think Reynolds, after getting looked at by the trainers, is going to have to come back. And she'll have strike one. Just finishing that thought on Denton. 4 hitless innings yesterday in what was her first conference appearance here at the Peach Belt of the season, after throwing a perfect game, a 5-inning one that is, on Wednesday in the second game of a doubleheader against King University up there in Tennessee. Denton went 15 up and 15 down in a 13-0 5-inning win for the Nighthawks. It was her first perfect game of her career, 4th time she's thrown a no-hitter. But the first one that did not have a single base runner. And I feel like she's going to be flirting with that accomplishment, no-hitters in perfect games, all season long, with how good she is at not allowing base runners, especially not allowing hits. She strikes out so many as well. But Denton on the season in 41 1/3 innings, 15 hits allowed so far. Still waiting on Addie Reynolds here over at first base. Think she maybe caught it on the hand right near the knob of the bat. Because she's flexing that, she's getting looked at that right hand right now. You see her clenching it as she comes back. She is not going to be awarded first base, which is why we're waiting here. She's got her bat in hand. And it looks like head coach Cody Yeske is out to get an explanation from the first base umpire as to how he thought that was a full swing. I'll admit that live I didn't think she went all the way around. I thought she pulled it back. This break allows us to review what was an eventful day yesterday for the Nighthawk athletic teams. We mentioned a couple of the wins. Women's tennis taking down Auburn Montgomery in their first ranked win of the year. So did the men's team. Men's tennis not ranked currently, but heading that way after defeating number 16 Auburn Montgomery yesterday in a 4-3 win. Men's basketball picked up a win over Augusta, moved into a 3-way tie for first place in the Peach Belt. Baseball over at Georgia College and State University in a non-conference series. Took the second game of that series with a couple runs in the 6th inning. Reynolds back in the box, takes a ball high, 1-1. And as we mentioned, obviously, your number 1 Nighthawks had a sweep of the Sand Sharks. Two and 1 now. UNG looking to win its 8th game in a row today. Denton delivers. Reynolds foul down the third base line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mariah Stevens is up next. Reynolds, another foul down the third baseline. The 2-2 again. Swing and a miss as it skipped up to home plate. The throw down from Georgia Blair to Mooney is in time, and that's 2 outs now in the second. Bit of a delay after Reynolds caught that one on the hand on a swinging strike. But no issues for Tybee Denton as she gets her 3rd K so far this game. 7 yesterday, already 3 today in the first 5 batters. What can she do against Mariah Stevens? First pitch skips away from Blair. And the 1-0. Drops in there. Nice pitch from Denton. Seemed like Blair was caught off guard for a strike. Excuse me, Stevens, that is. Blair was all over it. Stevens thought about going for the high heat. Mariah Stevens, just a .268 average this year, but a .1013 on base plus slugging percentage. That's because of her 5 home runs to lead the Sand Sharks. And there's a big home run-like swing for strike 2. Did not have any long balls yesterday against the Nighthawks, and she won't in the first at-bat here. Mixon over to Mooney. And another 3-up, 3-down inning for Tybee Denton. Keeps the Sand Sharks off the board through 2. Nighthawks batting in the second on the other side of the break on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Northeast Georgia Health System is a proud supporter of North Georgia Nighthawk Athletics.
Georgia Blair, Grayson Perry, Gracie Mixon. The 3 Gs in the Nighthawk lineup today. Batting here in the second. Looking to break open the scoring for North Georgia. Blair this season hit .341 with a .561 slug. 3 doubles and a pair of home runs on the year. Pitch in there for a strike on the 2-0. Now 3 balls and a strike. And the 3-1 is in there to make it 3-2. Kinlaw getting back in it. Out softly into right, and under it, Saria Simmons for the first out. That brings up Grayson Perry. A home run yesterday, one of the 2 Nighthawk home runs on the season, and Perry's first of the year. Perry, a pair of hits yesterday, 1 for 1 in the first game, 1 for 1 in the second game. The second game held the long ball. Grayson, the younger sister of former Nighthawk and former national champion Maddie Perry, who was on the team last year, has since graduated. Maddie Perry, the older sister, was a 3-year player under Mike Davenport, who transferred from Auburn University after 1 season with the Tigers. And the fun fact that Grayson wants everybody to know is that she picked North Georgia before her sister did. So we'll make everyone aware of that today. She faces a 2-2 against Kinlaw here. Nobody on and 1 out in the second. Nighthawks had a golden opportunity to score in the first, but a line-out double play from Sophie Mooney ended that. Swing and a miss, and Kinlaw has her second strikeout of the day. Now it's Gracie Mixon's turn. Mixon swings and misses at the first pitch. The third baseman today. 10 hits and 40 at-bats to start the year for Gracie. Senior out of Canton, Georgia. Pops up the 0-1 right to first base, and easily there is Mackenzie 4. A 1-2-3 inning for Kinlaw in the second. Keeps us deadlocked at 0. Who's going to be the first to scratch a crooked number across the scoreboard? We'll find out when we come back in the top of the third on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
I'm here.
You've got a lot of reasons to be here.
I'm here.
That's why we're here at Georgia Heart Institute, where advanced heart attack treatment.
Tybee Denton, as expected, still on the mound in the third. She's got the 7-8-9 to face in the top half of the inning against the Sand Sharks. And first up, it's Mackenzie 4, the first baseman. She quickly lines one foul down the third base line for making that catch to end the second inning for the Nighthawks. She also had that line-out catch in the first to get out Sophie Mooney. Turn around, step on the bag, and Mariah Wicker was out as well. Here's the 0-1. Outside. Ball and a strike each. For this year. Has started 12 games for the Sand Sharks. Lifts this one also foul. Way over towards left field and bouncing on the sidewalk. In those 12 games for Mackenzie Four, 7 RBIs, a home run. Hitting .276. She's got her work cut out for her here behind in the count against Tybee Denton, the 1-2. Up for ball 2. The 2-2 is also high. Fills up the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Talked about Tybee's no-hit ability before yesterday, in which she allowed just 2 hits in 6 1/3 innings. She's number 3 in the country in hits allowed per 7 innings. At 2.6. She's got her first base runner on today with a leadoff walk from Mackenzie Four. The first walk of the day surrendered by Denton. First base runner. Brings up Saria Simmons. Simmons waves at the first one for a strike. Simmons, a true freshman out of Duluth, Georgia, Duluth High School, where she played her high school days. Runs through the box and takes the ball. Simmons, despite her true freshman status, has played in all 14 games so far for USC Beaufort. She started 12 of them for head coach Cody Yeski. Yeski in her 3rd season as the head coach of the Sand Sharks, a graduate of the University of South Carolina. Not too long ago, just back in 2014, the young coaches among the ranks across the country. She's coaching a program that's in its 2nd provisional year of NCAA Division II status. This is a first-year member of the Peach Belt in USC Beaufort. It's a 4-year transitional phase to move from the NAIA to an NCAA member. Simmons swings and misses for the strikeout, 4th of the day for Denton. 3rd swinging. And now it's Tamaya Whitlock. So last year, USC Beaufort finished its final year of NAIA competition. They competed as an independent member of the Colonial Athletic Conference. Swing and a miss for Whitlock, strike 1. And a back pick from Georgia Blair nearly caught Mackenzie Four sleeping. A 1 on Whitlock. Swing and a miss again. I think she was showing bunt. Defense was charging. 1 down in the inning so far with 4 over at first. Double play is on for the Nighthawks. Denton's ahead, 0-2. And another strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Tybee Denton. 5 on the day. We're not even finished with the 3rd inning.
Back up to bat, number 1, Kaden Goodwin.
First pitch to Jaden Goodwin for the second time today is on the outside for a ball. Goodwin, the only strikeout looking of the 5 Ks for Denton so far today. So for USC Beaufort, this is their first year competing with a mainly Division II and an entirely Peach Belt Conference schedule. However, they are not eligible for any postseason play in the Peach Belt Conference or as an NCAA member. And they'll repeat this schedule and process next year in the 3rd provisional year. Year 4, full go. All systems green for the Sand Sharks. Still have full Peach Belt and NCAA postseason eligibility status. Check swing on the 1-1, bouncing across the turf back to Blair. Goodwin was able to save it. 2 balls and a strike. Outside edge, painted beautifully for strike 2 by Denton. Big difference right here with 2 outs between a 3-1 and a 2-2 count. Here's the 2-2. Lifted, left side, racing back is Mixon, and she'll get under it in foul territory for the 3rd out. 1 base runner does no harm to Tybee Denton. She gets a pair of strikeouts and out of the 3rd inning. Nighthawks still trying to get a 1 on the scoreboard in the bottom half when we return on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Greatness. Greatness is defined as striving to succeed. It is giving everything you have to achieve your goals. It's not defined by the numbers of games you lose, the numbers of shots you miss, but it's the risk in failing that will define your greatness. You earn it by showing up early, by pushing yourself every day, by working harder than everyone else. And when you've reached that point of giving up,
Tegan Laveo Masonette will lead things off for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the 3rd, followed by the shortstop Riley Moody. The 8 and 9 hitters before the lineup turns back over to Jolie Lester. Still zeros from the hill here in Dahlonega. Outside pitch from Kinlaw, ball 1 to Laveo Masonette. Tegan yesterday 1 for 2 in game 2 with a double, helping contribute to the 6 doubles in total between the 2 games for the Nighthawks, who lead the nation with 43 doubles as a team on the year. 2-0 and a big cut from Masonette just inside the barrel, tips back to the screen. 2 balls and a strike. There's a reason this Nighthawk team is number 1 in the country, and it's not just because they're the reigning NCAA Division II champions. It's because they have a lot of accolades similar to a nation-leading 43 doubles. When you look down the sheet and where the Nighthawks rank in certain statistical categories, it's just top 5 and top 3 everywhere you look, both pitching and hitting. And with the speed they have from some of the players, base stealing as well. The 2-2 popped up. This one should stay for charging towards the dugout and just lost it in the blue sky, unable to make the catch, and Laveo Masonette will see one more pitch. Mentioned the base stealing for the Nighthawks. Tegan 4 for 4 herself on the base paths this year. One more try in the 2-2. Lifted by Laveo Masonette out into center, shallow. A couple Sand Sharks converging. It's Darren Miller calling everybody off for the out.
Stepping up to bat, number 27, Riley.
Now it's Riley Moody for the first time today. Moody, the freshman from Douglasville, Georgia. Takes inside edge. First strike one. Riley, 6 starts on the year before today, this being number 7. Hard swing down the third base line, but just hooking foul. Moody's put the ball in play in a decent amount. 5 hits and 16 at-bats for a .313 average. She's behind 0-2 here. And just outside, ball 1. Couple jeers from the USC Beaufort dugout over on the third base side. The 1-2 again. Up the middle, and that's going to get through for a base hit. Riley Moody with a 1-out knock. And the Nighthawks have their first base runner since the bottom of the first. And in a good spot as the lineup flips over to Jolie Lester. Moody is just the 3rd base runner so far for UNG. Lester was the first. She led things off with a soft looping single out into center. First pitch here, she fouls back to the screen. Moody dancing off of first base. And Reynolds keeping an eye on her after the 0-1 was outside for a ball and a strike now to Lester. The 1-1 with 1 on and 1 out is put foul. Talked about all the events going on yesterday in Nighthawks athletics. 2 today, just 1 softball game here at home. The baseball team, after picking up a win yesterday against the Bobcats of GCSU, will finish off their 3-game non-conference series against the Peach Belt member Georgia College. That's coming up at 1 o'clock. The first pitch scheduled from Milledgeville. 2-2 on Lester. Out into center, racing back is Miller. That's overhead to the base of the wall. Rounding third and coming home is Moody. She gets a late stop from Mike Davenport, but that's a 1-out double for Jody Lester. Now 2 on and 1 out for Mariah Wicker, and both in scoring position. Moody got a great jump off of first base. She read that liner beautifully as it was roped out into center field off the bat of Lester, and Mike Davenport was waving her around and gave her a late red light So with one out, he'll leave it up to Mariah Wicker, who's already got a single today, a perfect bunt dropped down in front of the catcher that she easily beat out over at first base. And with that base open and Sophie Mooney on deck, wouldn't be surprised to see Mike Davenport have Wicker drop it down again. She's done it so many times this year. And she can beat it out at first with the best of them. And she shows it, pulls it back. As that pitch misses outside, 1 ball and no strikes to the lefty Wicker. Lester's double, her 6th of the year, 44th for the Nighthawks. Here's the 1-0 to Wicker. Big swing and foul. Wicker showing bunt again on the 1-1, pulls it back. Either not in time or it was in the zone. Maybe a little bit of both. It's called a strike. Kinlaw this season, 18 runs allowed, 13 of them earned. For a 2.97 ERA. And another foul from Wicker, just fighting one off and staying alive. Kinlaw has been the best pitcher for USC Beaufort. Opponents hitting just .242 with not a ton of extra base power. Here's the 1-2. Out into left, and that is off the top of the wall. Moody will score. So will Lester. Wicker with another double, and it plates 2. The Nighthawks are on the board first. An absolute rope the opposite way for Wicker, and UNG is on the board first. This will lead to a visit in the circle. And we'll see if a pitching change is on the docket as well for Cody Eske and her pitcher, Sierra Kinlaw. Wicker had her first home run of the year yesterday for her 8th RBI. She's now in double digits in the ribbies category with her 6th double of the year as well. So Lester had her 6th to put us in a 2-on, 1-out situation, and Wicker brought those 2 home with her 6th double of the season. And now Sophie Mooney, who's got more doubles than anybody in the country with 11, steps up with 1 out. Nighthawks did not like that call for strike 1. You can see Mooney kind of shrugging her shoulders as she looks back at Mike Davenport. The 0-1. Up and in. Mooney, a .521 average to lead the way for the Nighthawks so far. Here's the 1-1. Lifted right side. Camping under it is Simmons. She'll easily make the catch. Wicker going to tag for third, no doubt, and the head first slide is easily in time. So the fly out is the second out, but it moves Wicker 60 feet closer. And now Mallory Parker, who struck out her first time. Chance to make up for it with a runner at third. First pitch swinging, and she's ahead of the off speed. The 0-1. Inside and hit her. Mallory Parker trots down to first base. First time a Nighthawk has been hit by the pitch today. They've been hit more than anybody in the country. Before this series, Nighthawk hitters had been hit 21 times, the most in the nation. Parker's the first today. Brings up Georgia Blair now. First pitch outside. Parker running down to second. Not in time. She's going to retreat and be called out. Caught stealing 2-4 on the putout. Ends the inning, but not before Mariah Wicker puts a pair on the board with the double to plate 2 runs. It's 2-0 Nighthawks as we head to the 4th on the Nighthawk Sports Network. It'll be Darren Miller now as UNG up 2-0 after the 2-run double from Mariah Wicker scored Jolie Lester and Riley Moody. Parker was caught stealing to end the inning. But the Nighthawks are finally on the board. Tybee Denton still working in the circle. 5 strikeouts already on the day as we start the 4th inning. She goes against the 2, 3, and 4. It's Darren Miller in there right now, followed by Devin Weller and Taylor Chang right behind her. Up the middle, Denton behind her. Tough play for LaVeo Masonette at second and not in time. A soft infield single to end the no-hit bid for Tybee Denton off the end of Darren Miller's bat.
Back up to bat, number 10, Devin Weller.
Just perfectly placed where Denton and LaVeo Masonette could not really get to it in time, and Miller's got enough speed to get down there. First one to Weller, skips in. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Miller over at first, the base stealer for USCB this season. 5 for 5 so far. Nice pick by Blair on the pitch, right on the shoelaces of Weller. It's 2-1 now. So with just a 2-run lead, we'll see if Coach Yeski sends Miller over there at first base. Nobody out in the inning yet. Not quite in a position where she might want to steal. And a low strike from Denton makes it 2-2. Weller grounded out to end the first inning, her first time up. She's got a 2-2 here. Check swing. No appeal, didn't go. 3-2. Denton has faced a few full counts today. Last time she faced Weller was a full count before that ground out. And outside ball 4. So a bit of an unlucky start to this 4th inning for Tybee Denton. Her second walk of the game after the infield single for Miller. 2 on and nobody out as the Sand Sharks try to respond. And they've got Taylor Chang at the plate. Chang with 2 home runs and 7 doubles on the year, a .762 slugging percentage. Second best on USC Buford. She shows a bunt here, drops it down. Denton will field it and throw to LaVeo Mason, net covering first for the out. So the bunt advances both runners to scoring position. Miller's now over at third with Weller at second. And Addie Reynolds now striding to the plate after the sacrifice from Chang. First pitch, Reynolds takes high, ball 1. This is a pressure spot for Tybee Denton. Because she's been so good this year, hasn't been tested a ton in situations like this. 2 on, 1 out, first base open. Can she get out of this inning and maintain the 2-run lead? Popped up, and that will help right to short. Moody's there for the second out. And now Denton just needs 1 more to strand the pair of runners. Brings up Stevens. And you want another test? Stevens, the home run hitter. 5 on the year. 17 RBIs so far. Swings and misses at the first pitch, breaking away from her. Now the 0-1. In the dirt, and still a swing and a miss. Stevens perhaps a little amped up to try to bring home some runners. Blair's going to go out to talk with Denton for a moment. Tybee Denton, after a leadoff infield single followed by a walk, is 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Denton delivers the 0-2. Up above the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The first baseman, Mackenzie Four, would be next should it get there. Four walked her first time up. The 1-2. Outside, delayed reaction from the home plate umpire, which sometimes can be the case when he's going to punch out somebody looking. Instead, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. All defense plays straight up, both infield and outfield. Denton the pitch. Popped up, and this will get out of play. Stevens back ready. So is Denton. With 2 down and 2 on, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 to Stevens. Tybee Denton gets out of it with another goose egg on the board. Still 2-0 Nighthawks. Bottom of the 4th coming up on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
My name is Lana Titarina, and UNG is where I lead. I chose UNG because of the tennis program and how much the tennis program has achieved in the past. And I wanted to be a part of building a good team. But also the campus is very beautiful, the location. It has the new business building that I really like. And when I did my research, I really liked Dahlonega in Georgia. So one of the biggest challenges that I faced was coming here and not knowing anyone. I didn't know how the culture was and how to really approach people. And being new and not knowing anyone can be tough in the beginning. So you have to really put yourself out there and make connections, talk to people.
Back here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Thank you so much for joining us. Glad you could be here for this beautiful, sunny Sunday afternoon softball game. It's the Nighthawks and the Sand Sharks. If you're just joining us, UNG, the #1 team in the country, took a 2-run lead last inning thanks to a double from Mariah Wicker, her 6th of the year, to plate 2 runs and finally break open the scoring in this game. This is Georgia Blair. Hits one deep out into right field, still going back and making the catch right on the warning track was Saria Simmons. Blair gave it a ride, and Simmons caught it at about 201 feet. You see that big 205 out there in right field, just to the left of the right field foul pole. Now it's Grayson Perry up. She swings and pops up the first pitch. 4 drifting under it right along the line, and it breaks off of her glove into fair territory. That's a hit for Perry, and she ends up on second. That's the second time today we've seen Mackenzie 4 struggle to properly gauge a pop-up in the infield. The first one was in foul territory, so she was fine. That one was right along the line, and it just tipped off the glove into fair play. So that's a hit for Perry, who will now be pinch run for. And we'll try to get you that pinch runner in a minute. So it will be Caroline Branch, the sophomore out of Bogart, Georgia, as Gracie Mixon is now at the plate. So after the error, which is the first of the day for the Sand Sharks, Branch over at second, running for Perry. Mixon at the dish with the 1-0. Sierra Kinlaw still in the circle for USCB. She delivers a ball up and away. 2 balls, no strikes on Mixon, who popped out her first time up. That one is well above 3 balls and no strikes now. And Kinlaw gonna lace up the shoes after a couple outside the zone. One out, it's Branch over at second. The 3-0 to Mixon. Taking all the way, and it's right down the middle for a strike. Mixon fouls it back. That'll make it a full count, 3-2. Gracie, 14 RBIs on the year. It's tied for second most on the team so far. She's got a chance to get number 15 right here. The payoff. Fouled away again. We'll try one more time on the 3-2. High, out into left. Getting under it is Whitlock, and she'll make the catch. Retreating back to second base is Branch. So Mixon flies out for the second out.
Back up to bat, number 8, Tegan Laveo Masonette.
Now the second baseman, Tegan Laveo Masonette, for the second time today. First pitch up. Ball one. Laveo Masonette flew out to center her first time up. That was just last inning in the third. Nighthawks have only gone 1, 2, 3 in just one inning so far today. Good pitch for a strike from Kinlaw. Bullpen's quiet for both teams. Sierra Kinlaw, the starter for USC Beaufort. Tybee Denton for the Nighthawks. Looks like it's going to remain those two in the circle for the time being. The 1-1. Fouled away by Laveo Masonette. Riley Moody, who singled last inning, in the on-deck circle. Can it get there? The 1-2. Right to second and over the head of Jaden Goodwin, coming home and sliding in safely is Perry. Down to second goes Laveo Masonette. She's safe. Aggressive base running for the Nighthawks. Plates another run. Mike Davenport sent Caroline Branch. It was from second base. It was my mistake in saying Perry. She was the one who got there, and Branch pinch ran for her. So Branch scores from second on the liner from Laveo Masonette, who advances to second on the throw and stays in scoring position for Moody. Swing and a miss at the high heat from Moody. Fouled. Right back on top of the press box. Makes it 0-2. Moody single came on a 1-2 pitch the last time. That sparked a 3-hit rally. Moody, Lester, Wicker, all with back-to-back knocks against Kinlaw in that third. See if Moody can follow Laveo Masonette here. That one gets away from the catcher, and Tegan will rumble over to third. Addie Reynolds couldn't stop it. So Laveo Masonette advancing on the pass ball. Now 60 feet closer. The 1-2. Popped up and back out of play. Second time in a row on top of the press box. We're just behind home plate here. About 10 rows up above the bleachers, the press box. A 3-room press box, 2 rooms on the end with the main room in the middle, the long room that houses the camera, the scorers, the scoreboard operators. One of the best press boxes that you will see. Freshly painted dark green this year. Helps the fielders out in the outfield gauge the softball off the bats of the hitters. Here's the 2-2 to Moody. Inside, and she just fights it off, foul again. Third foul ball in this at-bat for Riley Moody. One more time on the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Moody down on strikes. Kinlaw strands a runner at third. But another one comes across in Caroline Branch on the 2-out single from Tegan Laveo Masonette to make it 3-0 as we head to the fifth on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
I'm Wyatt Nicholson, and UNG is where I lead. Moving from Fort Worth, Texas, here to Blue Ridge, Georgia, I got to be completely honest, it was pretty terrifying. Just because knowing that I'm starting basically fresh, it was just a sure set thing in my mind, and just, I wanted to make new friends. I wanted to have a good community here. I have some friends that go to Texas A&M, which was in my mind about going to, and they don't even know their professors' names most of the time. And so I just think here, I have a relationship with most of my professors, and they care about me, they care about my success, and that just means so much to me. And that was what drew me to the Blue Ridge campus and to University of North Georgia. Actually, initially I wasn't going to be a part of the Scholars Program. I just kind of wanted to be, I guess you could say, in normal classes. But whenever Professor Price, he's our political science professor here on the Blue Ridge campus, he'd reached out to me.
Mackenzie 4, Saria Simmons, Tamaya Whitlock. 7, 8, and 9 hitters scheduled here in the fifth with a now 3-0 lead for the Nighthawks and for Tybee Denton, who delivers a ball low. Denton had a little more trouble than usual last inning. She was able to get out of it nicely. 1-0 is up above the zone, 2 balls and no strikes. Mackenzie 4 served as the first base runner of the game to lead off the third inning for the Sand Sharks as she walked on a 3-2 pitch. She's got 3 balls and no strikes here. Last inning started with a single and a walk in consecutive batters for Denton. Darren Miller had a soft infield single. Devin Weller walked. And a 3-0, 4-pitch walk. Well outside from Denton. And second time 4 has reached via the base on balls today. So last inning, after the single and walk to start things off, Taylor Chang dropped down a sacrifice bunt that moved both runners into scoring position. But Denton got Reynolds to pop out and struck out Stevens after that to avoid any damage in the inning. So now Mackenzie 4 is being pinch run for, and stepping on is the senior outfielder J.C. Coleman. And now Saria Simmons having a conversation with her head coach, Cody Yeske, before the at-bat. Looks like our umpire has notified himself of the change in his pocketbook, and now we're ready to go. Dropping down a bunt, right back to Denton. She'll go to second, but it's out into center field. And everybody is safe. Looked like Tybee Denton was just a little indecisive on if she could make the play at second and get the lead runner, or should she just go to first. And she elected, I think at the last minute, to try to go to second base. You could see her foot wasn't quite planted towards second base, shoulder square, but she did turn and throw it that way, and it sails out into center field. Now dropping down the bunt to the third base side, and nobody's there. Everybody's safe again. Mixon charged and then retreated to go back to cover third, but Moody was covering third, and the bunt went right to shortstop, and Mike Davenport's going to come out and talk things over with his defense. It's now bases loaded for the Sand Sharks. All started with a leadoff walk from Mackenzie Four. It's J.C. Coleman in her place as the pinch runner over at third. Simmons dropped down a bunt that Denton threw into center field. Now she's at second after the bunt from Tamaya Whitlock. And the top of the order coming up, and the best hitter for USC Beaufort this year, Jaden Goodwin, who's 0 for 2 today. Goodwin pops it up on the first pitch, but it will get out of play. Goodwin struck out looking her first time. And on the second at bat in the third inning, she popped up in foul territory to Gracie Mixon over at third. 2 straight foul balls here, makes it 0-2. Against the junior from Corner, Alabama. Transfer from Florida Southwestern. 0-2 way up above, and it was Georgia Blair coming out of her crouch and I think even leaving the ground to get up and make that catch. Probably a run-saving pick by Blair. The 1-2 to second. LaVale Masonette will go to Moody for one. Back to first. In time, a double play. Throw back to third just in case. No. So a run scores on the 4-6-3 double play. Great turn by LaVale Masonette and Riley Moody. Sophie Mooney tried to go back to third base to get Saria Simmons, who was off the bag a little bit. Wasn't able to do so. Coleman scored for the first run of the game for the Sand Sharks to now make it 3-1. Still not out of the woods yet is Denton. That double play is huge with the bases loaded and nobody out. Now the tying run is at the plate instead of on the base paths. Another foul ball back over the screen from Darren Miller, 1-2. Miller is 1 for 2 today. Single last inning that did no harm. She got all the way to third before Denton ended the inning with a strikeout to Stevens. Now Miller's trying to keep it going here with 2 outs. Swings and misses. She won't do so. So 1 run does come across after bases loaded and nobody out. Tybee Denton pretty much went about as good as you could. A double play and a strikeout to end the inning. And it's still a 3-1 lead for the Nighthawks here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. 3-1 ball game now in the bottom of the 5th. After the bases loaded double play allowed a run to score in the last half inning. Tybee Denton got her 7th strikeout to get out of it and keep the lead for her team as Jolie Lester lines one foul on the first pitch in the bottom of the 5th. Sierra Kinlaw still in the circle. 3 runs on 6 hits so far today for the Nighthawks. 1 error. They have left 3 runners on the base paths. And for USC Buford, it's 1 run on 3 hits. They have an error themselves and have stranded 4 runners. Lester fouls another one back to make it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lester's 2 for 2 today. A single in the first, a double in the second. She came around to score after that. Excuse me, that double came in the third. See what she can do here to lead off the 5th. Out into left, and that's dropping for a base hit. Jolie Lester is 3 for 3 today. Single, double, single. And she's got the Nighthawks started at the top of the order here in the 5th inning. With respect to USC Buford, looking down the schedule, the Nighthawks this season have ended a lot of games before a complete 7 innings. In order to do so here in the 5th, they would need to score 6 more runs. 8 after 5 is the run rule. Wicker showing bunt, pulls it back quickly as that pitch up above the zone. Which for this team that can rally and put up runs in a hurry is certainly not out of the realm of possibility. Wicker drops down the bunt, but it goes foul. She's already had 1 bunt single today. Then had the 2-run double in the 3rd. Jolie Lester and Mariah Wicker 1 and 2 in the lineup today for Mike Davenport. Pretty much going to be that way most of the season. A combined 5 for 5 so far today. Here's the 1-1. Wicker dances away as it skips in near her shoelaces. Both teams getting the signs from their coaches. 2-1. Wicker drops down a bunt. Right back to the pitcher. Kinlaw, she'll throw to first, not in time. Mariah Wicker gets down that line so quickly. The 2nd time today, she's got a bunt single. She's now 3 for 3 as well. And this situation reminiscent of the way North Georgia started the game. 2 on, the first 2 in the lineup, and nobody out for the best hitter and Sophie Mooney. That one resulted in a line out for Mooney right to first. That turned into a double play as Wicker was off the bag. See if they can get a better result this time. Mooney's 0 for 2 so far. She certainly hopes to change that and get a better result here. Kinlaw looks at the wrist sleeve for the pitch com, the 0-1 now. And that's lined foul back to the Nighthawk dugout on the first base side. Mooney with the team leading 19 RBIs. 39 total bases this year as well. Has played and started in all 17 for the Nighthawks. One of just 3 players to do that. That pitch up on the 0-2 makes it 1-2. The other two to join Mooney in that accomplishment. One of them is on the base paths right now over at second base. It's Jolie Lester. And then Gracie Mixon. Mixon, the third baseman today. The 1-2 is outside to Mooney. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out, 2 on. The 2-2 pitch. Mooney swings and will slice another one foul. Only 1 home run this year for Mooney so far. And another foul ball back to the North Georgia dugout. 3 straight. Mooney just staying alive in this at-bat. She started behind, no balls and 2 strikes. She's battled her way back to a 2-2 count before consecutive foul balls over to the right side. A very good chess match between Kinlaw and Mooney so far in a big spot. Nighthawks can break open this game here. Buford can keep it close, try to get some offense in the 6th and 7th innings. Here's the 2-2. Up above, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff to Mooney. And another foul ball over to the right side again. This one, instead of in the dugout, over the dugout. Almost back to the road, but stopped by the black fence that runs along Lynn Cottrell Park. Now Mooney digs in deep into that right-handed batter's box, close to the plate. One more time for the 3-2. And she fights it off foul again. By my count, this will be pitch number 11 coming up in this at-bat. Kinlaw not going to get an easy out against Sophie Mooney. One more time. This one's in play. It's off of the leg of Jolie Lester. She is out on the play as it hit her heel, I think, running to third. Everyone else is safe. So it's as if they just got the lead force out at third. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Wicker over at second. Mooney is safe at first. Now it looks like Mike Davenport is going to make some changes. Mooney's going to come out in favor of a pinch runner. It's Madison Cosgrove now stepping on the bag at first. Cosgrove, the sophomore out of Columbus, Georgia. Wicker still over at second. And now Mallory Parker at the dish. First pitch strike to Parker. 0 for 1 today, hit by pitch in her second at bat. And here's the 0-1. Parker lifts this one left side. Going back is the shortstop Weller, but charging in and calling her off is Whitlock for out number 2. It's only the second out this inning. as Georgia Blair now comes up. First pitch to Blair is up and away. One ball, no strikes. And Blair takes strike one. Georgia, a pair of flyouts to right field today. That one in the fourth, most recently, was a long one. Needed 205 feet, and she got about 201. 1-1. Just barely nicked foul. Blair, oh so close, just a little late. The 1-2. More jeers from the USC Beaufort fans in attendance. It's just low and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's a 2-2. Put on the ground, scooped up at short by Weller. The throw over to first in time. Sliding there was Blair. Couldn't get there safely. Couple hits, a couple base runners, but no damage done. Sierra Kinlaw gets out of it again for the Sand Sharks. It's still just 3-1 in the 6th on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Still a 3-1 ball game now here in the 6th. Sierra Kinlaw has done a nice job today, limiting the damage for the most part from North Georgia. They started last inning, single, bunt single, single from Lester, Wicker, and Mooney. Had 2 on with nobody out and were unable to bring home any runs. Lester was out after the ball was deflected off of her foot on the hit from Mooney. That was the first out. And then Parker and Blair, a couple of contact outs in the field. And this one's out into left center. That one up to the wall and over the wall. Devin Weller with a home run, the first of the game for either team, makes it a 1-run ball game. Weller's 3rd home run of the year, a solo shot here to lead off the 6th. And it's now 3-2. And Tybee Denton's day is done. Mike Davenport is going to go to his bullpen as she retreats to the dugout. A stellar start, and things got a little shaky once we hit the 4th inning for Tybee. So a pitching change for North Georgia. We'll be back in a moment after the change here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Northeast Georgia Health System is a proud supporter of North Georgia Nighthawk Athletics.
So Sophie Mooney doing a little bit of it all this season and in her career for North Georgia. She takes over in the circle for Tybee Denton. And Mary Seal Brumby, the sophomore out of Cedartown, Georgia, takes over for Mooney at first base now. After the home run from Weller, it's Taylor Chang at the dish. Weller, a line shot just over the yellow line at the top of the wall in left center field to make this a one-run game. Mooney in the circle. Only 8 2/3 innings for her this year. A 3.23 ERA in those innings. 4 walks and 9 strikeouts. And lined off the glove of Laveo Masonette at second base. Out into right field. Wicker picks it up and throws it in. And the error, the second of the day for the Nighthawks. Still unable to record their first out this inning as Addie Reynolds now comes to the plate. And showing bunt, trying to drop it down, but not quite able to, was Reynolds. Remember, Reynolds got hit on the hand earlier in this game, back in the second inning. And now there may be some changes. One for Cody Yeske, head coach of the Sand Sharks. So after the first pitch, she'll now go get a pinch runner for Taylor Chang, the designated player today. And taking over at first base for Chang is Caitlin Boyett, freshman from Lambert High School, Suwanee, Georgia. So 0-1 to Reynolds. And way up above, 1 ball, 1 strike from Mooney. Mooney last pitched an inning in relief yesterday against the Sand Sharks. And all zeros other than the 1 IP. And this one's back up the box and under everybody's glove. Under Mooney, under Moody as well at short and out into center. Home run error single to start the 6th for the Sand Sharks in their comeback effort. That advanced the pinch runner, Boyett, over to second. So it's a pitch hitter, Kaylee Eubanks for Mariah Stevens. Stevens over at third base defensively. And Eubanks shows bunt, drops it down right in front of the plate. And going down to first was Blair. It was Laveo Masonette covering the bag as Brumby charged. They do get the out, but both runners advance, and that's only the first out this inning. A run has come across already, thanks to the home run from Devin Weller. And now it's Mariah Stevens. The tying run just 60 feet away. Go ahead also in scoring position at second. First pitch low and in to Stevens from Mooney. Excuse me, McKenzie 4. Up and away from 4. 2 balls, no strikes. Tough spot for Mooney, the 2-0. Low and in. Three balls, no strikes, and strike one, low and on the inside part of the strike zone. So it's Boyett over at third base, and at second it's Addie Reynolds. 4 faces the 3-1, swings and puts it back up the middle into center field. That scores 1 run. The go-ahead run coming around. Brumbiel doesn't cut it off the plate. At the plate, she is safe. Somehow, Blair was unable to apply the tag on Addie Reynolds as Reynolds kind of went on top of Blair and over her, landed on Georgia Blair's back and touched home plate. Blair had the ball that whole time, with the home plate umpire saying that Blair did not actually apply the tag from her glove to Reynolds. Boyett scored easily as the tying run. And Mike Davenport out to argue the call as Reynolds came home. It's worth noting, too, McKenzie 4 in the confusion and the play at the plate that took forever to develop got all the way over to third base. With, again, just 1 out this inning. And now Cody Yeske is out to talk something over with the home plate umpire. Mike Davenport a little confused, pacing along the first base dugout. Not sure what the issue is now, whether it's a substitution issue. The home plate umpire looking at his scorecard. It looks like we're ready to go. Oh, maybe not. Now Davenport is coming back for another conversation. I think no matter what, this run from Addie Reynolds is going to stand, and it's going to make it 4-3 in favor of the Sand Sharks. And for a second time, we've got another conversation between Yeske and the home plate umpire. So it started after the safe call at home made Reynolds the go-ahead run. Then Mike Davenport came out to have a conversation with the home plate umpire. They departed, and Cody Yeske from USC Beaufort went to have a conversation. Then Davenport had one, and now Yeske just had one. And for a third time, Mike Davenport is talking something over and looking over their score sheets with the home plate umpire. None of the fielding umpires are getting involved in this conversation in any capacity in an effort maybe to speed up this process. There certainly have been a number of substitutions, pinch runners, pinch hitters. in this game. We had our first pitching change this inning after the home run from Devin Weller brought on Sophie Mooney in place of Tybee Denton. And there were a couple pinch runners this inning for Beaufort, including a pinch runner, Caitlin Boyett, who didn't go out until after one pitch in the next at-bat. Boyett was pinch run for Chang, who reached on an error. And then on the first pitch, the next at-bat to Reynolds, then Kodieski decided she would pinch run Boyett. Typically that happens before the next at-bat. And now, finally, the umpires in the field are going to come join the home plate umpire to figure out what the issue is here. We're going to step aside on the Nighthawk Sports Network while they get things sorted. It's 4-3 USC Beaufort taking the lead on a 2-run single from Mackenzie Ford. Back in a moment here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Well, we have had a most interesting turn of events here at the Hill. I believe, we haven't had official word. I believe there was some sort of issue with the substitutions and the re-entries from Kodieski and the USC Beaufort Sand Sharks. A run has been taken off the board, so it's now 3-3 all tied. And we've got to sort out who's on the base paths here. Mackenzie Ford just hit the 2-run single that scored Boyett and Addie Reynolds. She's now over at second base. Oh, no, that's Reynolds at second base. It's Saria Simmons at the plate. Over at third is Caitlin Boyett. So I think what we're doing is because Mackenzie Ford was improperly re-entered into the game, or for a lack thereof re-entered, she's out. Her at-bat does not count. That play never happened. Ford is just out, so now there's 2 outs. And we're in the situation we were when Ford hit the single, with Reynolds at second and Boyett over at third. And so now it's Saria Simmons who faces a 2-1 count with Sophie Mooney still on the mound. Swing and a miss makes it 2-2. And now, I was just about to say, we have to go back and remove one more run. So it's a 3-2 lead for the Nighthawks because that last at-bat did not count. That second run came from Devin Weller, a home run to start this inning. 2-2 with 2 down and 2 on. Up above 3 and 2 for Mooney. So, a lot of confusion that happened. Essentially, the last at-bat that was a 2-run single from 4 is mitigated because she was improperly re-entered, and she is just out, and we are back to where we were before that at-bat started. And it's a check swing from Simmons that goes to third, mixing the throw to first. And after a crazy turn of events, the Nighthawks are still in front, 3-2, heading to the bottom of the 6th here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
I'm here.
You've got a lot of reasons to be here.
I'm here.
That's why we're here at Georgia Heart Institute, where advanced heart attack treatment protocols are saving more hearts than anywhere else in the state. That's why we're here.
I'm here.
So you'll always be there. The future of heart care, we're leading Georgia there. Georgia Heart Institute.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
One and one on Grayson Perry here in the bottom of the 6th. We apologize for the delay. Difficult trying to keep up with the stats of that last inning with a failed re-entry that would have been a 2-run go-ahead single for Mackenzie Ford. That gets erased off the board. Her at-bat just goes in as an out. And we had to go back and redo from the spot prior to her at-bat with the next batter. Results. And the Nighthawks still leading. It'll be Perry, Mixon, and Tegan Laveo Masonette, barring any substitutions from Mike Davenport, here in the bottom of the 6th. Popped up foul from Perry. Perry 0 for 1, struck out in the 2nd inning, reached on an error in the 4th. She was pinch ran for then by Carolyn Branch, who came around to score. Perry, the error she reached on was that pop up to first base that Mackenzie Ford. It glanced off her glove and into fair territory, and heads up to Perry. She was running hard and got the 2nd on it. Now she's got a 3-2 count. Just tipped foul on the 3-2. Back up the middle. Scooped up by Weller, and the throw over to first is in time to get Perry.
Back up to bat, number 15, Gracie Mixon.
So it's Gracie Mixon's turn. She's 0 for 2 today. First pitch ball. So the Sand Sharks in the next half inning will have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters scheduled. Whitlock, Goodwin, and Miller. This all after they thought they took the lead against their fellow conference foe and number 1 team in the country, the North Georgia Nighthawks. Instead, it's 3-2 in favor of UNG still. Mixon's 1-1 is fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. The 1-2 is above the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tegan Laveo Masonette next in the on-deck circle for the Nighthawks, and they're looking to get some insurance. They've certainly had a lot of opportunities in this game to have more than 3 runs on the scoreboard at this point. Mixon softly out into right. Going back is the second baseman, Goodwin, who makes the grab. Now it's taking Laveo Masonette with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch strike from Sierra Kinlaw, who's still on the mound here in her 6th inning. So far, she's given up 3 runs on 9 hits. Defense has just 1 error behind her. But she's stranded 5 runners so far in this game. That's the difference between 9 hits and 3 runs. Oh, 2 outside. Tegan today 1 for 2 at an RBI single back in the 4th. That scored Branch from second. Now she waits on the 1-2 pitch. Puts this one softly over to right, and it's over the head of Jaden Goodwin. Just a little looper that no one could get to. And Tegan Laveo Masonette keeps the inning alive with 2 outs for Riley Moody. The second hit of the day for Laveo Masonette. She's the 3rd Nighthawk to have a multi-hit game so far. Moody could be the 4th. She's 1 for 2 on the day. First pitch outside. Laveo Masonette jumping off of first base, but retreating. One-0 up the middle. Scooped up as she retreats back behind second from Weller, but Moody beat it out over at first base. Tough, slow developing play for Devin Weller at shortstop. And Moody gets her second hit of the day, an infield single. And flips the lineup over to Jolie Lester. Lester swings at the first pitch, fouling it back to the screen. Lester's 3 for 3 today. Her and Wicker battling for player of the game candidacy. Both of them 3 for 3. Wicker with a couple bunts, but she had that 2-run double in the third. Lester single, double, single so far with a run scored in that third inning as well. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. On the Fayetteville, Georgia native. Two on, 2 out for the 1-1. 2 balls and a strike now, low and away. Lester swings at the 2-1 and misses. Deuce is wild. The pitch through the left side for a base hit. LaVeo Masonette getting waved around. She'll score standing up. And now the throw gets away at third base. Both runners advancing. Moody to third and Lester over to second. A 4-hit day for Jolie Lester. Four to 2. Nighthawks take the lead, or extend their lead in the 6th. And good heads-up base running. That was just not a great defensive play as Whitlock struggled with the ball out and left at first and then threw it to third where there was no runner for North Georgia, as Moody at the time was content at second base, but the throw to third got away. So everybody advanced as LaVeo Masonette scored easily. This will bring up Mariah Wicker.
Back up to bat, number 11, Mariah Wicker.
Well, Wicker's followed Lester today. 3 for 3. All day batting behind Jolie Lester. Can she do it again, this time with 2 runners on and 2 outs? Thought about delivering a swing on the first pitch, but didn't. Holds off, but it's a strike, so it's 0-1. And that'll be a mound visit. Excuse me, a circle visit for USC Beaufort. Kinlaw's been good today. She's done a nice job getting out of some pressure spots. And this is another one. Inning started, ground out, pop out. But since then, 3 singles in a row have added a run for the Nighthawks and a chance for more with Wicker at the dish. The 0-1. Dropping on the bunt. It's popped up in 4. Gets under it. Charging down the first base line. Wicker has had 2 bunt singles today. Both of them great. But she gets under that one there with 2 outs to end the inning. And 2 more runners stranded in scoring position for North Georgia. It's still 4-2 Nighthawks here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Greatness. Greatness is defined as striving to succeed. It is giving everything you have to achieve your goals. It's not defined by the numbers of games you lose, the numbers of shots you miss, but it's the risk in failing that will define your greatness. You earn it by showing up early, by pushing yourself every day, by working harder than everyone else. And when you've reached that point of giving up, you don't. Most people are good, others are great. Find your greatness.
Last chance for the Sand Sharks. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions for them. They thought they had the lead over the number one team in the country at one point, 4-3. But an improper re-entry, I guess it will officially go in as batting out of order from Cody Eske, the head coach, as Mackenzie Four put the go-ahead single out into play, was removed from the scoreboard. And they could not get it back, as it's still 4-2 now, with a run being added by the Nighthawks in the bottom half of the sixth inning. So the last chance now for USC Buford. It'll start with a pinch hitter in Cassie Brundage, a freshman out of Canton, Georgia. She's batting in the 9-hole in place of Tamaya Whitlock, with the junior Jaden Goodwin on deck. I think just making sure this substitution gets put in properly so that there are no issues. Brundage first pitch to short, and it's under the glove of Riley Moody between her legs. Cassie Brundage only taking one pitch to get on base. On the error. Now the tying runs at the plate in Goodwin. So Goodwin at the plate. Check swings, does not go. Tamaya Whitlock is now pinch running for Brundage over at first. One and one on Goodwin. She's 0 for 4 today. A strikeout, grounded into a double play in the fifth with the bases loaded. That scored a run. Off first base is Whitlock, and trying to get back. She just barely does on the bunt show from Goodwin. Goodwin does not have a home run this season. She does have 9 doubles and a triple. And certainly USC Buford will take whatever they can get right here. The 2-2. Low and away from Mooney. Mooney took over for Denton. Last inning in the sixth after Denton gave up a leadoff home run to Devin Weller. Three balls and 2 strikes on Goodwin. Up the middle, Moody to second for one. LaVale Masonette the relay to first, not in time. They get the lead runner, though. And Riley Moody, who just had the error to allow that lead runner on for a moment, makes up for it by making the play at second base here.
Back up to bat, number 4, Darren Miller.
So now Darren Miller batting. Miller today, 1 for 3, singled in the 4th inning. Her other 2 at-bats, strikeouts against Tybee Denton. She puts this one back to short. Moody busy this inning, throws to first. A nice play as she struggled for a moment to gather that one, but was able to collect herself and throw over to first. And now the final out in reach for the Nighthawks. It's going to be a tough one against Devin Weller. Already 1 home run today for the senior from Knoxville, Tennessee. Another one would tie it. She takes a pitch low for ball 1. The home run earlier from Weller was her 3rd of the year. This one's out into right. That will drop. Wicker scoops it up along the line. A run is going to score. That makes it 4-3 with 2 outs in the 7th. Another clutch hit from Devin Weller. Her 2nd RBI of the day, as she's now 2 for 3 with a walk. Really good day for the senior shortstop. Brings up Taylor Chang. Chang first pitch through on the right side. This one's going to get all the way into the corner. Wicker picks it up on the warning track. Getting the wave around from third is Weller. The throw to the plate. Got her! Ball game over. Nighthawks sweep the Sand Sharks on a thrilling 3rd game with the final out at home here in the 7th. Weller tried to score from first. She got the wave around third from her head coach, Cody Yeski. But the Nighthawk defense, starting with Mariah Wicker all the way deep in the right field corner by the foul pole, cuts her down at the plate. And North Georgia continues its win streak up to 8 straight games for the #1 team in the country. They move to 3-0 in the Peach Belt Conference and get ready for a doubleheader coming up on Wednesday right here from Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium at Lynn Cottrell Park against Alabama Huntsville. First game on Wednesday against the Broncos is at 12 p.m. Second game scheduled for 2 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. We hope you had fun. We certainly did on this one today. North Georgia moves to 16-2 overall, 3-0 in conference play on the conference series opener with a 4-3 win over the Sand Sharks of USC Beaufort. Have a great day, everyone.